Welcome, everybody, to the Critical Music Club number 76. It's the All-ROCKIN Roundtable, a chance for musicians, DJs, music writers, music lovers, and miscellaneous miscreants to meet and talk tunes. My name is Bo, and I will be your host. For a kid-friendly dinosaur, sexual fluidity, a favorite of monarchs, or prince's preferred decor. We're not talking blue and yellow. Today we're discussing the Critic list, purple songs. And for our album discussion, it's two albums by his royal badness. One that finds him dwelling on the end of the millennium, precariously dangling his private parts off the precipice, swinging precariously between sexuality and chastity, dance and pop. And the other, not looking at the future, but the here and now of 1987, where starving mothers, gang members with Tommy guns, horny night waitresses, and yes, the perennially horny prince all strut the same street. We're discussing 1999 and Sign of the Times by Prince. To discuss that album, we have a veteran critic of the CMC, and here's the intro he told me that I must read if I want. He's a published author with 3 books currently for sale on Amazon, including his diatribe mocking the United States history of weaponized ignorance, which is called Trumpocalypse Not. He also wrote the novel Salvation Road, a memoir of his time in a handicap rights-oriented psych rock band Undertow from Los Angeles. He operates the music label Establishment, with 30 releases available on his website. He's lived and taught in China since 1994, where he started a band with legendary Yunmeng Young Arts colony star Fa Zi. He's now living in Shanghai. Most recently, he has been writing a column cataloging 100 Prince outtakes and live jams you have to hear before you die. And it can be found at kevinsalvesen.substack.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome for Kevin Salvesen. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Have you been ordained in the princeness? Is
Bless you, my child. Bless you.
bless me? Yes, fantastic. You've
May
been a
you make
critic
it to
many
the dawn.
times. This is the first time you've been a guest. Does it feel interesting to be on the other side of the camera, if you will?
I'll do my best.
Okay. And today you're going to be discussing whether 1999 is the better album than Sign of the Times. In fact, you're going to be arguing that 1999 is better than Sign of the Times. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. You're going to convince everyone you think here?
May God have mercy on my soul.
Okay. Well, you're not just here alone. We have a full panel of critics here, and I want you to get a chance to know who's going to be breaking down and slicing up your argument. So we're going to go to our round table of critics. So I'm going to say your name, but please introduce yourself very quickly. Say your name, where you're at, and something recently you've been involved with in the world of music. It could be something as big as an album you've released or a concert you performed. It could be something as small as a jingle you heard on a commercial or a song that you hadn't heard for a while or what you're listening to. It could be anything, big or small. Just say your name, your city, and something recently you've been involved with in the world of music. Got it, guys? I hope so. Let's start with. We'll go in reverse this time. Is Tony here? Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Tony here.
Yeah. Where are you at, and what's something recently with music you've been involved with?
I'm currently in Shenzhen, China, and I gotta say I'm very thrilled to be here. I'm kind of like one of the major Prince fans here, and
Yeah.
uh, I published like 2 EPs.
Mm-hmm.
Basically are funk and soul music and disco music. One of it is, yeah, right behind you. It's called In Your Heart. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, whatever you name it, QQ Music. Yes. I gotta say my musical inspiration, like maybe 30-40% comes
It's
from
from Prince.
Prince. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. We need
Thank
some
you.
quick intro. That's really good. No worries. Good job, Tony. And I want to hear more about the influence of Prince soon. Let's go to a first timer. Let's go to Rob next.
Rob in Shanghai. My first time. Happy to be here too. I recently bought, related to music, 3 records. I'm still a record purchaser on Discogs, and I get them sent to the UK, and then when I go back, I collect them. But I was very happy with that. And then I also saw a video circulating this week. It may have been an old one of Cole Cox, the legendary DJ, who apparently owns 150,000 records, and I own 1% of that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Rob. I know I've been pushing to get you to join, but you're going to drop some knowledge. You're going to be great. I appreciate it. Hey, Professor Nate.
Hey, what's up? So, I'm the professor. I am here just south of Boston. What I'm doing musically, well, this week I'm just teaching, but the next week I'm going to be working with an opera arranger to get his stuff out and ready for performance in about, I don't know, a year. So that's going to be cool.
Fantastic. Thank you, Nate. Let's go to Logan.
Oh, hey guys, I'm Logan. I'm American, but I'm currently in Shanghai. I am a choreographer, so I did 3 of Beyonce's dance videos, and currently I'm working with Jay Cho to work on his next concert.
That's one interpretation of events, and when we're talking about Prince, fantasy is a big element, so that's perfectly fine. I know Julia, I guess, is still getting home right now, and that's fine. Let's go to Elizabeth.
Hello, everybody. Currently in Ocala, Florida. Most recent thing I did with music is a couple days ago, I just kind of did a deep dive on some of like the indie artists I remember back in college and whatnot. Just, I wonder whatever happened to that band. So,
What band? Give me one example.
who was I looking up? I'm trying to remember. Block Party, actually.
Block Party. Very good. And before you leave here, we have a new segment. Let's take our time to do that right now. We have Elizabeth's cello joke of the week. Elizabeth, please entertain everyone with your joke.
Okay, so cello joke for today. It is,
Go.
why is it why is a cello better than a violin?
Why?
The cello burns longer.
Okay, we got a cello joke. Thank you very much for that, Elizabeth. And we got a couple of people still running late, but let's go now to Anastasia.
Hi, I'm also currently in Shanghai. I'm not really connected to music that much. I'm an animation artist, but I just want to be more of a listener. And I generally think music is a very important part of creating animation, how the movement of character goes together with the pace of music and like the feeling of the character. So I would like to know more of it from the professional point of view, because I think generally in art and animation, you have to get as much knowledge on very different aspects as you can. So I'm really glad to be here.
Absolutely. A very academic, a very strong response. Thank you very much for joining us, Anastasia. And Julia. You're muted, Julia. Okay. Say hello.
I am in Shanghai, currently coming back from a party at Zup Pizza.
Oh, don't tell the other pizza guys that. That's a problem. And what are you listening to recently or whatever?
Well, I was listening to some DJs.
Some DJs, very insightful. Thank you for that, Julia. All right, let's keep it going here. So, Kevin, sir, and if I missed anyone who's in the chat somewhere, I know We still should have Gabrielle and some other people. Maybe they'll join us again soon. But it's time for our album discussions. We have 1999 and Sign of the Times. Let me just read some quick factoids about these albums, and then we'll go to Kevin to give his kind of breakdown. I'll interview him a bit, and then we could all discuss it. And I'm sure we'll listen to lots of different music samples here. So, some facts about 1999. The album was released October 27, 1982 by Warner Brothers and has since gone quadruple platinum. Prince's previous album to that point, Controversy, which I got somewhere here. Had Lisa Coleman on keyboards, but this album, 1999, sees more of his band The Revolution contribute, with not only Lisa, but Wendy, Brown Mark, and Bobby Z and Dez appearing. By the next album, Purple Rain, they would be officially credited as his band, The Revolution. And Little Red Corvette from this album was Prince's first top 10 hit in the USA from this album. And let's go to Sign of the Times. I'll just knock that out real quick. It was released March 31, 1987, and has since gone platinum. Some of his albums make best of lists of all time, including 1999. But Sign of the Times is generally considered Prince's most critically acclaimed album. In 1989, Time Out magazine ranked Sign of the Times as the greatest album of all time. The album was ranked number 16 on the New Musical Express's list of the all-time top 100 albums, and on and on and on. The album featured 3 top 10 single hits in the USA. You Got the Look went to number 2, Sign of the Times went to number 3, and I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man went to number 10. Okay, Kevin. Well, before we get to you, just one more thing really quickly. I'm looking at everyone right here. Who here before this would consider yourself a huge Prince fan? Just put your hand up. Huge Prince fan? A few? Okay. Who here had never heard Prince at all whatsoever? This is your introduction to Prince, or maybe close to it. Okay, we got some of those people too. Okay, so Kevin, we got some newbies, we got some experts, maybe in between. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Bo. You always run a tight ship and put on a good show for everyone. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Let me know if my video doesn't come through correctly or if the sound is bad. I'm trying to use a better Wi-Fi than I have in the past. But anyway, all right, so I queued this up just so I could start. I'm not sure you'll be able to hear it, but let me see. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this artist named Prince. His reputation is going to last forever, and that's a mighty long time, but I'm here to tell you. There's no one else better.
Okay.
So when you call up that shrink in Beverly Hills, you know the one, doctor, everything will be all right. Don't ask him how much music you got left. Ask him how many Prince songs you've got left. Because you can't listen to Prince in the afterworld. Instead, you've got to listen to Prince right now for the rest of your life. I'm just telling you, there is no way that you have time to listen to every single song Prince has ever created. There's so much to listen to. He's literally the Mozart of our times, the Mozart of the last 150 years. Because, okay. First of all,
wow.
We got a little PPT. I'm wearing this because it's supposed to be this dearly beloved shit. But anyway, I can take off the costume now.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Do your thing.
So first of all, just on pure sales, we're comparing 1999 to Sign of the Times, right?
Yeah.
And Sign of the Times is definitely a much more mature work. But what you got to keep in mind is that he wrote 1999 when he was 23 years old, right? But nonetheless, in terms of the public, what the public thinks, you can see here that, first of all, 1999 sold about 6 million plus. And Sign of the Times has only sold about 2 million around the world. So in terms of the vote of the people speak. Now, obviously, you could say, you know, maybe the people's taste isn't always as informed. But nonetheless, certainly, I remember when I was growing up, I was in high school when 1999 came out. And I didn't know anything about Prince, but there was this particular guy in my high school named David Miller, God rest his soul. And he brought in 1999 and he shows me this album and he's all like, you know, Kevin, this album has the lyrics, I sincerely want to fuck the taste out of your mouth. Okay. And when I was in high school, this is the first time I could even contemplate the fact that popular music could have what I would have considered obscene at the time. Of course, then in 1984, a couple years later, Purple Rain came out. I saw that in the theater, and for my high school newspaper, I wrote a review saying it was fantastic. And then after that, about a year later, he came out with Around the World in a Day, which was mind-expanding. So I sort of grew up with Prince, but what I really like about him, okay, what you have to ask yourself is this. If there's one song you think that people will remember 100 years or 200 years from now in the Prince oeuvre, is it pronounced, or oeuvre? But anyway, in the whole Prince catalog, if there's one song that you're probably going to remember, it's 1999.
Okay, pause there. Since that is one of our tracks anyway, let's listen to a little bit of 1999 to kind of get in the mood, Reverend. It's a little bit like their gospel music for Prince, I guess we could say. Amen. Build some holy water. Thank you. Here we are.
Don't worry, I won't hurt you. I only want you to have some fun.
You're lucky I'm not going to strip down to my bikini briefs.
$2,000 party oops out of the time. Yeah. So there you go. Prince 1999 continues. By the way, you're the second person to threaten to take off their clothing. I haven't seen one ball, no titty yet. I mean, lots of threats from you guys, but we'll see. Sorry for interrupting you, Kevin. Please continue.
Well, anyway, so, you know, obviously I think that's pretty much the only song that's ever been about like the apocalypse, but still managed to make it fun. And, you know, while we're facing the issue of World War III around the globe right now, it's suddenly back in fashion. But in terms of just marketing, I just think it's brilliant to have come up in 1982 with the idea of having a song about the end of the millennium, which as a career move, it's just brilliant because it really does give you, you know, 18 years of marketing opportunities that people are going to constantly refer to your song as, a culmination of an era. And, he wrote that when he was 23. All right. So, Sign of the Times, you said the song You Got the Look was went to number 2.
Yep, number 2.
Which is fine. But I would challenge
It's fine. Okay.
I would challenge people to sing that song right now, and probably unless you've really got into the Prince catalog, you might not know that song. But I think almost everyone has heard 1999 at least once. So right there, that's just a slam dunk argument, if you ask me.
Well, let's play a little bit of "You Got the Look," and then you'll continue here. Let's just
okay, if you're gonna bring up that song, I can't stand the lyrics of that song. I mean, the music is good and everything, but he literally has the lyrics, "Your body's jamming, let's get to slamming," which I think is just too crude, even for my, childish adolescent tastes.
Okay, let's listen to a little bit. All right, there. Not up to your standards, you say, Kevin.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if I was a woman, I would find that seductive as a come on line, but maybe the bravado works. I will say, this is the slide about how 1999 is basically his unforgettable song. But meanwhile, the song Sign of the Times is a great track, but it's downbeat, and I'm glad that it's about social issues, because one of the good things that I think is good about Prince is that he was never someone who shied away from addressing social issues. And he had a lot of complexity. He had a lot of dimension to his artistry and his topics that he would sing about. He wasn't just a pop artist. He was multifaceted. But it's a little depressing. And it's weird that 1999 is like, well, it's the end of the world, but at least we can party, which is a fun, approach to things. But then, I don't know. Sign of the Times is the only thing it has going for it in terms of something upbeat is when he says, despite, my cousin doing horse and things blowing up in the sky and people getting shot with guns, we could have a baby and call him Nate.
Just really quickly, just let me ask you a question here. Is your assertion that Sign of the Times is not just not as good as 1999, but is a poor album?
No, not at all. I love 1999. And actually, when we came up with this idea...
No, Sign of the Times. Do you think Sign of the Times is a bad album?
No, it's a great album.
Okay.
It's just not as seminal and groundbreaking and interesting.
Okay.
It's really just so that we could have this conversation about it, Prince, because both albums, I think, are just, you can't beat them with a stick. But what I do like about Prince, he's got what I would call tension. Like, all of his songs are not just pop songs, they're not just rock songs, they're not just songs about sex or seduction. They're always about some push and pull. It's always like, yes, I'm feeling very sexy, but on the other hand, the woman has me in her hand and I hate her for it. Or, yes, I want to just, get laid, but at the same time, I also want to go to heaven. So he's just this walking contradictions. And I think that makes his artistic persona very interesting. I don't know, he claims maybe it's because he's a Gemini, but I don't believe in astrology. However, I
The
will
devil's
say
work.
that if you do at least appreciate like astrology as a metaphor, being a Gemini and having two sides, he's got that androgyny thing going sometimes, so he's a little bit effeminate sometimes, but he's also pretty hetero and pretty masculine in terms of sexual bravado type of stuff, and so he's just like these walking contradictions, and I think that makes his. Oh yeah, there's the bikini briefs. All right.
Yes, very, very, very masculine. Very
Right.
masculine.
All right. Here's the nipple. No, anyway, ultimately though, what I just love the fact that he is what I would call dangerous. He's always interesting because you don't know how far he's gonna take it, and sometimes he takes it almost too far. And other times you're all like, those two things can't even work together. But I think that he makes it work together in a kind of a way that is very liberating. I think anybody who winds up listening to enough Prince will get a certain liberation from it. Mm-hmm. In other words, yeah, sex can be, what you might call dirty, but it's also love, and it could be a spiritual connection that winds up being something that unites people. And so because of that, he does have two sides, but those are always in conflict. And so it makes it interesting. So Sign of the Times, however, I think is a little unfocused. It's got great tunes on it. In fact, it's a more mature work because he wrote it when he was maybe about 29. So anyway, it's obviously better produced. Like I was listening to 1999 a couple days in a row this last week and going, wow, there are some really interesting ideas here musically, but a lot of it, it's not layered. It's not very layered in the kind of a way that the pop psychedelic great production of Sign of the Times has it. But still, just his ability to use the Lin drum, the drum machine, and the fact that he basically cornered the market on that like rim shot that goes that rim shot sound. I mean, no one can use that rim shot sound because if they do, everyone just goes, well, that's Prince's. You can't use that anymore.
Well, let's kind of bring this up. I want to give you an example of when I think of the Prince production on 1999. And this is your time, but let me say, when I hear this, it sounds chintzy to me, especially the beginning of this. It sounds like a demo to me when I hear the opening. And if other people have thoughts or comments, they can bring it in. We're going to open up things to the floor in a minute here. But here is track number 4 from 1999, Let's Pretend We're Married. Free for a couple of hours. Yeah, so that's an example I think that highlights what to me, and this is just my opinion here, not Kevin's necessarily, the limitations of Prince's production on 1999. And if you guys want to comment or bring something in, write in the comment section, and I'll go to you first. Kevin, kind of take us almost home a little bit here, and you'll still get plenty of time to talk, but I want to kind of dialogue it out with people.
Yeah, I agree that it's minimalist, but what you have to imagine is that coming out of the late 70s and early 80s, this was a new sound and a new style. So, yeah, it's that on purpose. I remember one critic describing it as the sound of a computer breathing. And one of his other songs is Something in the Water Does Not Compute. Then in Purple Rain, he's got a song, Computer Blue. He was interested in using the technology, but I think he humanizes it, especially with his melodies, obviously. And so I think he was just experimenting. But yeah, I agree that the production on Sign of the Times is better. There's no doubt about it. But in 1982, that's what was interesting about 1999.
Do you and one or two more things here? What do you think? There's a grand statement that's made in 1999. You showed your chart there with the tension a bit for that Sign of the Times, but yeah. Oh, okay. Well, why don't you continue then and finish us up, and then we're gonna go to Logan and some others here. Yeah.
I think there's some themes, that are always on his albums. One is conflict between spirituality and the carnal or the erotic. And then another one is his quest for love and identity. Like, I sometimes wonder what drove him. Like, this slide here says that between 1982 and 1989, he literally wrote 200 to 300 songs a year. He was literally writing a song a day, sometimes 2 songs a day. I mean, he would literally wake up at about 2 in the afternoon, go into the studio, play the drums, play the keyboards, play the guitar, sing the song. Then he would go to perform first by doing a sound check, and he would force his band to sound check for like 2 or 3 hours before the show. And then he would put on a 2 to 3 hour show. And then after that, he would go to a bar and perform at an after show where he would like just screw around and have fun. And then after that, he would go back into the studio and record another song.
Yeah.
I wonder what drives him, because he was a taskmaster just as much as James Brown was early on in his career or something like that. And I think what drove him is, first of all, he was short. So he got a little flack for that. Obviously, he wasn't happy with facing racist issues when he was, in Minneapolis growing up. And basically, he couldn't be a basketball player, but he was driven to prove himself. And then obviously in his biography, it's a little bit about, I think, trying to prove himself to his father. He had issues dealing with maybe his father having a little bit of some aggression. And his father was a jazz musician, though. So obviously by proving himself musically, he could prove to the world that he just was driven to be the best. So.
Okay. Before we open it up to everyone, I just want to see you just put your hand up here, especially after hearing Kevin talk a bit. Who here agrees with Kevin that 1999 is the better album? Who says 1999 is better? We got a few yeses, and who says Sign of the Times is better? Okay. Maybe
actually, let me ask you something.
Who?
Is this text behind me backwards?
No, we can see it fine.
All right, it looks backwards on my screen.
Your head sometimes covers some of it, but that's okay there. Okay, I want to bring in everyone here. You've had a nice time to kind of lay out your arguments, and I'm sure you'll have time to bring out some more of them. But who here wants to comment and give their opinion? Let's go to Tony. I haven't heard from Tony for a while. Tony, Prince had sleepless nights, just like you.
Yep.
But which of these is your favorite of the 2 albums, and why?
It kills me when I have to, choose one of these 2 great albums. But I listened to these two albums thoroughly uh, the days before. Um, I think The Sign of the Time got some great tunes like The Cross and the last two songs. Adore is my favorite songs out of this whole album. It's a ballad, it's slow song, slow jamming. The whole album has its own textures like rock and gospel and funk and soul stuff, but mostly it's kind of jumps out of the box of the work that he has done before for the
Mhm.
past 5 years. So then I jumped to 1999. It just burns my head over and over again because when back then the first time I listened to 1999 is back in university. Yeah, back in the college, and it amazed me that the song 1999 wasn't uh, written in 1999. And it's like Prince is the prophet of
Uh-huh.
this time. It's way ahead of this one, and uh, it just reveals the world's going to explode and something. Fuck it, let's have a party.
Yeah.
That's the whole attitude is kind of amazing, and it continues the music in musical. Uh, it continues with the style of later on the revolution. Uh,
Yeah.
like one album after comes Purple Rain, I
Purple
guess.
Rain, yeah.
Yeah. So I call 1999 and Controversy and Purple Rain like a triplet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can dig that. Yep.
hmm hmm
Cool.
And 1999, the whole album got like four or five wonderful hits.
What's your
The
favorite
first
song
one,
in 1999? We'll play that and we'll move on.
Little Red Corvette, no doubt,
Okay, well,
hands
I
down.
made that on my list, and so on my critic list, which we'll get to Purple Song soon. I'm gonna play Little Red Corvette, and then I'm gonna go to other people and at least think of your favorite song from these albums, or if you have an argument or question you want to bring up to Kevin. Thank you, Tony. Here's Little Red Corvette.
Guess I should know by the way you popped your car sideways. I wouldn't last. You're the kind of person who believes in making out once, love and leaving fast. Guess I must be dumb. She had a pocket full of horses, Trojans of abuse. But it was Saturday night. I guess that makes it alright. You see, what have I got to lose? All that I say, baby, what's too fast? Little red Corvette, you need a love that's gonna last. Guess I should've closed my eyes.
There you go. And to me, that solves a big problem of a lot of 1999, which is that, like I said, it feels very robotic and it's not dynamic at all when you have the drum machine going. This has the electronic sound, but it rises up, it goes down, like it's got a nice wave to it. And that I think that's one of Prince's very, very best songs here. Nate, Professor Nate, what you got? 1 second. Oh, were you just drinking coffee when you answered there? Okay.
I have
We hear
to
you.
hit
Okay.
two mute buttons to get me on here. So like, just in general, thinking. So my kind of like, it's hard for me to pick, in all honesty, on that because I love Prince. I'm not the diehard Prince fan, but I respect him as an artist like more than most artists that have that category for me. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, last night I was listening a lot to Purple Rain, for instance, just on repeat, just because
Mm-hmm.
I love the guitar artistry in there. Well, like from what I can tell, like between the two albums, one of my kind of bigger takes, dude, just kind of big picture on it. One of the reasons why I have a hard time seeing it is because he's such a dynamic artist in general.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why, like what's one of the modern artists that kind of like comes to mind a little bit, although I'm sure he doesn't hold a candle in most of our minds here. Well, and I had him on my playlist recently. There is a Japanese
There's
artist.
Oh, I'm not sure, but there's a lot of comparisons to Bruno Mars sometimes. He's very musical, but very pop oriented, right?
That that could be a good kind of could oh man, I can't remember his name now. It's like Fizuki.
Well, take your time, think of it.
Yeah,
You
I'll bring it back.
which album did you prefer? Did you have a favorite track?
I mean, I'm a big fan of 1999, obviously, on that, because and I like, you know, I did that originally. I arranged it for a New Year's party that I was supposed to do with a horn
Uh-huh.
band. And I was just
The
like,
song 1999, yeah.
yeah, like, and it was, you know, you know, I didn't change much in the arrangement of it because it's just kind of perfect for that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what year it is. Like, you know, partying like 1999 is like, it's the thing. Like
Yeah.
that's every New
Yeah.
Year's. So
I mean, and people keep mentioning that like it was a really cool idea and an interesting idea to sing about the apocalypse. Although I mentioned 99 Red Balloons is about nuclear destruction and the final countdown by Europe. Similar themes a bit in those. And also, you know, like the Friday the 13th movies, there's always going to be the Friday the 13th coming up, whatever. But it's still a cool idea. And I remember I was the perfect age to get excited about that, even though Prince's commercial heyday was before my time a bit. Let's go to Elizabeth here. Elizabeth, you've been in orchestras and stuff. Did the sort of computer and Lindrum electronic sound of 1999 bother you, or did you prefer that to Sign of the Times?
So I actually preferred 1999 to Sign of the Times, and a lot of that has to do with um, how I was introduced to Prince, as well as kind of listening to him as I got older, the progression of like, you know, the 90s, the 2000s, all that kind of stuff. So in 1999, you can kind of hear the beginning of sort of like the Prince sound of the 80s. And then Purple Rain, which is kind of how I was introduced to Prince, kind of like that really solid, this is Prince in the 80s. And then Sign of the Times, you can kind of hear that change from what Prince was doing in the 80s to kind of like where he would go in the 90s and the 2000s and stuff like that. So that was what was really interesting as far as, you know, listening to 1999 and Sign of the Times, as well as considering like which came first, which came second, which came third.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like my favorite song, I would have to say on 1999, of course, you know, Little Red Corvette, 1999 are awesome. I actually like Delirious. I think part of
Delirious.
that was just because, yeah, just because once again, it's kind of like the introduction to the quintessential 80s sound in general.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say, like, on Sign of the Times, which one I like? I actually kind of like Housequake.
Housequake, yeah, that's pretty. Look, some of the hip hop
Yeah,
vibes. Tony thinks that's funny. That's okay.
right.
You can think that. I, and okay, I'll play a little bit of Delirious, and I appreciate that you're wearing purple. And then we'll get. You talked about your first impressions of Prince. We'll go to Anastasia, who this is her first meeting of Prince, and I'm interested to hear someone who came in with fresh expectations. So here's Delirious Things, Elizabeth.
I get delirious whatever you need. Lose all self-control, baby, just be still. Whiskey locked in place, stupid look on my face. Comes from making up fast, pretty mama. I just can't wait to rest, 'cause I get delirious. 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 I'll get delirious if you hold my hand.
Yeah, so, Anastasia, Elizabeth mentioned, her introduction to Prince, and Kevin mentioned his introduction to Prince. So they've been listening to Prince for decades here. This was your impression. Let me know if that's correct, and if you had any expectations going in, and what struck you most strongly or firstly with these albums, whether it's the music or the lyrics or the persona that he puts together. Just I'm really interested in a sort of fresh perspective on this. And
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
So
Okay.
I absolutely didn't know who Prince is, and I feel a little bit shamed for that now, because I thought it will be discussion of some very, very niche, unfamous guys that nobody know. And then I started, I listened to the album, I started Googling this guy, and I'm like, it's like one of the most famous in the whole world, and I never in my life heard this name. And I feel like, wow, I've been missing out. I've been missing out hard. And I've been when I just started listening the album, every second was like a little of a discovery. I absolutely didn't know what's that. So I thought it's like disco funky music. Then I discovered it's very sexy disco funky music. I've been drawing and listening to it, and then I started hearing the lyrics, and I'm like, huh? What? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I found that his vocals are a little bit like Michael Jackson. And I find some similarities in their styles, in their this extravagance. But as I understood, in real life, they kind of had beef. They didn't like each other. So can I ask on that? What's his connection to Michael Jackson with the
They're
style?
practical
personal-
rivals to each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Michael Jackson. Well, Kevin, do you know the bad story, Kevin?
Sure, yeah, he basically, in the song Bad, it starts with, "Your butt is mine," and he wanted Prince to do a duet with him on that song, and Prince is all like, "I'm not gonna say that to you, but my butt is not yours, so there's no way we're gonna make this work."
Yeah, Michael Jackson asked Prince to sing a duet, and but Prince was very infamous for being very difficult to work with many people, including people he put on. So yeah, there was definitely some rivalry there. Although, if you want an interesting video, one time James Brown was on stage, the godfather of soul, and he brings out Michael Jackson and Prince to do little solo bits. So it's an interesting one-for-one comparison. But yeah, there you go. But both were in the same era, same popular music. Both were very big in the 80s. So there's some comparison, Anastasia. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe the Prince doesn't make it in Russia with all the sexuality, He was known for being very gender fluid in some ways, but he still had very popular commercial hits. But yeah, thank you very much, Anastasia. Yeah, Kevin, Prince got a lot of trouble with the PMRC, and then, he later he found religion from Graham, right? From Grand Central Station. And then he kind of disavowed some of the more sexually explicit content. Let me just ask you here, do you think that stuff is really essential for him, or it's just kind of one dimension?
Who are you asking?
Kevin, you. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's very interesting. Here we got this slide here. Then we have the next one. I call it it's just a highfalutin college word to say it's a dialectic. But it's constantly a tension to me, which makes it really interesting. He never just picks one side. Instead, he kind of smashes both together, and you have to see it in a new way. And I think that that's interesting. He did become more conservative when he got older, and maybe that's because he got married and his first child died within a week of being born, and he said, God did this to me because I've been so filthy. And then he did meet the guy Larry Graham, who was the bassist for the band Sly and the Family Stone, and he became a Jehovah's Witness. Which is a great story about how when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you're supposed to go knocking on people's doors and saying, hi, I know it's dinner time, but I'm here at your door to talk about Jesus. And so suddenly he would be knocking on people's doors, and they open the door and they're like, Prince. And he's like, do you have time to talk about the Lord today? And, you know, that would have been a fantastic thing if it would happen to any of us, but I'm sure he must have shocked some just average folks who are literally like, are you serious? You know, and he did become a little more conservative as he got older, but I think the tension he always had of wanting to go to heaven, you know, there's a whole bunch of songs, even on 1999, where like, he, like at the end of Lady Cab Driver, he's got this one that says, let's see. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Maybe it's a different lyric, but he's all like, you know, there's a better place that I'm gonna go. At the end of, I guess it might be something.
This heaven, or yeah.
But you know, like he's constantly obsessed with saving his soul, and so then he's got this constant tension, which is very interesting to me.
Interesting stuff, yeah, and like. There's the sexuality, but then there's his kind of interest in Joni Mitchell, who shows up in the Ballad of Dorothy Parker. So just to give you guys, Prince is a big fan of the folk singer Joni Mitchell, and in the Ballad of Dorothy Parker, he even references a Joni Mitchell song. I'll play a little bit of the Joni Mitchell song, and then we're going to get to Rob here. So in the Ballad of Dorothy Parker, he sings a little bit from this Joni Mitchell song, which is Help Me.
I think I'm falling in love again. When I get that crazy feeling, I know I'm in trouble again. I'm in trouble, 'cause you're a rambler and a gambler and a sweet talking ladies man, and you're loving.
Yeah, like so, and also in Raspberry Beret, he mentioned some characters in Joni Mitchell songs. So there's a lot of interesting influences here. So let's go on to Rob here. What I associate your interest with electronic music and dance versions. Did you what did you think of these albums, and did you prefer the dancing material, or where do your interests lie in these?
Thanks, Bud. I think first of all, as you know, I was listening to the wrong album first. I listened to Purple Rain and was making all these comments, and you kindly pointed out that was not the album we were discussing. So it is my first time. I will not make that mistake again. I apologize.
It's all good.
Yeah. I did prefer 1999 by quite a long way. I was not a big fan of Sign of the Times. The track Sign of the Times itself, I quite liked. I just found the album just goes from this style to that style. I probably agree with you. The production is cleaner. It sounds a bit more commercial to me. It just didn't do anything for me. Especially the kind of, I know in the center, I can see you were saying the slow songs. I really didn't enjoy those ballads, those slower songs. I found them a bit boring, to be honest. So yes, when you ask me what sort of songs would I prefer, I think on that album Sign of the Times, It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, I found a bit more fun. And You Got the Look, I thought was a better track. I found Housequake to be a bit strange myself. The voice, when he kind of does that funny voice, I don't know. But that was my opinion of Sign of the Times. 1999, on the other hand, when I first listened to the song 1999, there was this part of it that made me think of Manic Monday by the Bangles. I don't know. There was something in there. I was like,
Well, he wrote that song.
Prince wrote.
which
Yeah, Prince
I
wrote
then
them.
looked it up, and he wrote the song. So it was so interesting that that happened. And obviously, I think he gifted it right to the Bangles. But anyway, I think growing up, before I go and talk about 1999, growing up in the UK, I think Michael Jackson, Madonna was much more, the famous American 80s artist was perhaps in the UK we were more into. Of course, there were Prince fans, but I don't think to the level that Michael Jackson and Madonna were supported in the UK. From 1999, my favorite tracks are Lady Cab Driver. I quite like All the Critics Love You in New York. I think that's a good track. And then Automatic reminds me a bit of that sort of UK 80s sound. You've got that synth in there that's very kind of UK 80s vibe. Delirious had some mosquito noises, which we heard earlier. That's sort of something I picked up on. That kind of mosquito sound that they produce. Yeah. I think what else? I thought actually I agreed with someone else when they said this to me is more typical Prince, what I would think of Prince, the 1999 album. For example, he does 1999 and then he comes back with Little Red Corvette that just, to me, brings it back to that 80s sound. But yeah, that was my impressions. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the voices. Like at one point, I'd have to double check. He mentions Jamie Starr. That's one of his personas. Like he would produce songs in as different characters and sing them as different characters, and he pretended they actually existed. There's a lot of different, the sense of identity is a big theme in Prince's songs. Who he is and and obviously things like The Time, which he would write all the songs for, like The Bird and Jungle Love as well. Just like an aspect of Prince's personality there.
Probably the biggest song that he wrote that a lot of people know is the Sinead O'Connor's "Nothing Compares to You."
Yeah, that's he would find pretty pop singers and then give them songs. Sheena Easton, all these singers that he liked. Yeah, Nothing Compares to You is a song he put out for a group called The Family, and then he gave it to Sinead O'Connor. And there's a lot of stuff I could talk about with a lot of control freakishness with Prince, and he wouldn't let The Time tour as The Time because he owned the name. Some of it's very abusive to me. I don't know if we've got time for that now. I want to hear. We got at least two more people, and if other people want to add comments as well, let's get to that. Logan, sir, what was your impressions for these albums?
So I, being a gentleman of a certain age, I grew up listening to Prince. I hadn't really listened to Sign of the Times as much as I should have. So I've listened to 1999 more. And what I found when I listened to it the first time, I was re-listening to the last couple of days, and I really found I was like, oh, this is generic Prince music. And to me, I was like, but this is not a negative thing, because I started thinking back in the day, it was mind blowing. Like he has a song, I think it's Adore You. He has a female perspective he comes out with, a character. And to me, and as someone that grew up with it, it's almost background. Sometimes the music I hear is so much background because I work in an industry where I hear music every day, for my work, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of background to me. But I was like, oh my goodness, I'm listening to the lyrics. And this is coming out in 1982 is very, very much not generic. He just had a way about him where he could say stuff, but it's a sing-song thing. And then you go to what's it called? You start listening to 1999 or Little Red Corvette, and you realize he's a storyteller. And Prince paints you a picture. That's such a clear picture of what that day is, what that night is, or 1999, which I thought was so fascinating to go back to. And he had such a talent for writing all these songs and he's a persona of Prince is, as we talked about, it's such an amazing thing. I feel like you can't discuss Prince without saying the artist formerly known as Prince as well.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that's not either one of the albums, but if you grew up when I did, which is the 90s, that was when you saw Prince, and you're like, what the fudge is going on? But it's this whole persona that he is an artist. I feel like he is such a creative that it's hard. Like as you said, he's probably hard to really deal with, but you can't separate the art with the artist with that guy because he's an artistic person.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying, I'm not a woman, I'm not a man, I'm something that you'll never understand. That's from I Would
Yeah,
Die for You. Like the idea of specifically being obfuscating and trying to create mystery around someone is so antithetical to today's sort of portrait of artists who, post on Instagram every day and do 4 podcasts every week,
yeah.
where you're getting every aspect of it. Here, he's pretending that he doesn't know who Jamie Starr is, even though he is Jamie Starr, and he doesn't know, he gives song credits to people who didn't write it. It's a very sort of different thing, right?
Well, I mean, I think the time we're looking at, especially when these songs were coming out, like we didn't know who Elton John. We didn't know Elton John was gay. We didn't know all. I think there were so many things that misconceptions that we didn't know about artists.
Yeah.
And Prince is just in your face, being himself, which was really really interesting. Like to do research for this, I started watching old Prince on SNL. If you watch like his old performances, like you could see before he's Prince and then he was when he's Prince. Because the movie that comes out, Purple Rain, that was, I mean, I was a little young for it, but that was absolutely like, oh my goodness, this guy's a heartthrob. All he does is hook up. And then you listen to the lyrics of some of his songs, you're like, oh my goodness, it's a different, the different world. So I was really impressed by the artistry of what he is. You know what I mean? The self-expression that he
Yeah.
used at that time.
Yeah, that's right. So with Purple Rain, in between this, at one point in the United States, he had the #1 movie, the #1 album, and the
Yeah.
#1 single happening. Good stuff, Logan. Let's just move on. Julia, what was your favorite thing here? What was your favorite song? Or which
I
album did you like?
enjoyed Sign of the Times better than 1999.
Why?
1999 was very generic. It had 8+ minute long songs that lasted forever. I'm sorry, but like the electronic jam band stuff, my bad. And also so much moaning, sexual moaning that was just like, this is unnecessary. Yes, you're trying to make a point, be sexual, be that, but why are you pretending to have an orgasm right now?
There's lots of orgasms in Prince's songs. Like on the song Automatic, it starts off as like a pop song, and then the jam just goes on and on and on at the
Yes,
end.
exactly. This is the problem I had with it. Also,
I,
I like the darker stuff. Sign of the Times had a lot of darker themes in their songs. And I also enjoyed the fact that it wasn't just one genre, it went all over the place.
Yeah, those are two things that make me like, when I listen to 1999, I want to listen to album 1 or album 2. Both are good. I like them. But listening to them both together is too much ding dong, ding dong, ding dong for me. Whereas Sign of the Times, it starts off with a title song, like an opera, it sets the theme, and it just has a much richer palette to me. In fact, like on 1999, I love Something in the Water Does Not Compute. And that's a song that, to my ears, could be on Sign of the Times. But that's just my opinion. Any final comments here and from anyone on the panel here? Otherwise, we'll go to Kevin to finish up. And we'll move on.
Wait. I will also have to say, sorry, I forgot the name.
Go.
Housequake, my favorite.
Okay, you're the second person to mention Housequake, so let's listen to a little bit of that, and then we'll go to Kevin to finish it up, and we'll move on to the critic list. By the way, lots of critic lists include Prince songs, so I'm sure those bits and bops will appear there. Thank you, Julia. And in the meantime, Housequake by Prince.
Shut up already. Damn. Tell me who in this house know about the quake. I mean, really? If you know how to rock, say yeah. If you know how to party, say oh yeah. But if you ain't hip to the rap housequake, shut up already. Damn. Housequake.
That's basically King Kuta by Kendrick Lamar.
All right, there you go. Kevin, finish us off here. Do you want to give a
Sure.
final statement here?
I will say he's the best musician of all time.
Oh,
There is not a better guitar master. Some of his guitar playing is so fucking expressive. And he can shred or he can play the blues. He plays 20 plus instruments. He's the top 20 songwriter of all time. And he was also a fashion icon. So he's just got so much style. I mean, I think it's absolutely right that everything he does is a higher level of artistry. But, you know, even 1999 has the song Free, which is great because it starts with this sound of troop boots on the ground, and then it goes into their soldiers in the street. And then International Lover, I think, is one of his best slow R&B sex songs of all time. Even better than, to me, like Adore. Like, I can't remember the melody to Adore or a couple of others on Sign of the Times, but International Lover is just hilarious, right? I mean, the lyrics are hilarious. But here's the lyrics of Lady Cab Driver, where it's nearly misogynistic, actually, because as far as I can tell, in the middle of the song, he starts saying that he's gonna fuck as a sort of form of aggression, where he's like, this one, meaning, I guess, this thrust, this thrust is for the rich, not all of them, just the greedy. This one's for those who don't know how to give. This is for discrimination and egoists who think supreme. And this is for whoever taught you how to kiss and designer jeans. This one is for why I wasn't born like my brother, handsome and tall. This is for politicians who are bored and believe in war. That's for me. That's who this one's for. This one's for the Yosemite Sam and the tourists at Disneyland. This one, oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one, the creator of man. This is for the sun and the moon, the stars, and the tourists at Disneyland. This is for the ocean, the sea, the shore. And this is for, yeah, that's for you. That's one. This is for the women so beautifully complex. This one's for love without sex. So it's all over the place, but it's not boring by any stretch of the imagination.
One thing I think we can all agree, whether you prefer one album or the other, it's definitely not boring. And thank you very much, Kevin, for your enlightening talk there. I appreciate it. Yeah, okay. And check out Kevin's Substack and everything else. And we're going to close out our album discussion there. But like I said, I'm sure bits and pieces of it will be coming through in our critic list as we discuss purple songs. So, as per usual, there's no wrong answers for these. It's open to interpretation what a purple song is. There's some very interesting ones in there. But before we go any further here, when I just said purple songs, just yell it out, write it out, whatever. What was your first impression when I said purple songs? Purple Rain. So Nate says. Anyone else have first impressions or?
I thought Purple People Eater.
Sheb Woolley, Purple People Eater. That was on someone's UFO songs recently, yeah. But that song didn't make the list at all. I was expecting more Deep Purple. I think Kevin had that on there as
Purple
well.
Haze?
What's that?
Purple Haze.
Purple Haze.
Purple Haze, yes, and that appears in two different versions there. Although I like the Iggy Pop Purple Haze cover as well. But yeah, there you go. Cool stuff. And just one more thing. Put your hand up. Did you guys listen already to the critic lists playlist on QQ or Spotify? Just put your hand up if you did listen to it. Some people prefer to listen to it after. Did anyone check that out? Maybe not. Perfectly fine. I'm just trying to maneuver things so I can do it better for the future there. So anyway, there's no winners or losers, but it's fun to keep track on what artist songs appear on the lists. So we compile it. There's the amount of times an artist or song appears, and also the points, with the number one ranking getting 5 points, a number two getting 4 points, etc. The artist that appears the most times, shockingly, is Prince, with Jimi Hendrix Experience appearing 4 times. And I'll mention Lisa Coleman, who was a keyboard player for Prince and then Prince of the Revolution. She appears 3 times. And D12, which I was not expecting at all, appears 3 times. The artist points is 23 with Prince. Jimi Hendrix Experience got 13 points, and Lisa Coleman and D12 got 11. And the song that appears the most is the Jimi Hendrix Experience with Purple Haze, and yep, and yeah, not the Groove Armada one. And Purple Pills and Purple Rain appear 3 times, and Purple Haze, the Jimi Hendrix one, got 13 points. Purple Pills 11 points, and the song Purple Rain, which also appears in a cover version, got 9 points. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call on people. I'll read off your top 5 song lists. Take a minute and a half. Explain your list. You can talk about all of the songs. If you want to talk longer about just one of them, that's fine. And then I'll play the song. I'll assume you want your number 1 song. But if you want me to play a different song, that's fine. Just let me know. And we'll do that. Kevin, you're on the hot seat. Well, let's start off with you. You complained about this list. You said you weren't sure what to do with it, but you came up with something eventually. Your number 5 is the Jimi Hendrix Experience Purple Haze. Your number 4 is Hole, Violet. Number 3, Van Morrison with Purple Heather, which I had never heard before and I really liked. Artie Shaw and his orchestra with Deep Purple. And number 1, a classic from proto-heavy metal band Deep Purple with Hush. Tell me about your list.
Well, you know that Hole, I almost made my number 1 because she's got a great line. They take what they want and then they never want it again. It's a great tune. But that Deep Purple Hush has just such a great little organ funkiness to it, and then it goes into a great little chorus, a little na-na-na chorus. So it's a great listen that I thought would titillate the people here at today's CMC. So go ahead and play that one.
Do you overall have like a favorite Prince song, whether on these albums or other ones?
Well, I guess Purple Rain is a fantastic song.
See, like I recognize it as a great song, but I prefer covers of it or even live versions of it. The production of it bothers me, But you prefer the studio version of it. That's your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, there's no end to the songs I like from him, but
certainly it's a big one there. All right, cool. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna get to Professor Nate. Here is Deep Purple with Hush. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
There you go. Professor Nate, sir.
All right, got one.
You got yourself unmuted. You got everything ready. In the meantime, I'm going to read your list.
I'm going to find one way to make that one button someday here.
That's all good. Your number 5, Taylor Swift, Lavender Haze. Your number 4, this is a great tune, and I actually got the 7-inch record of it. Stevie Wonder with Purple Raindrops, obviously a great predecessor to Purple Rain. Your number 3, the Jimi Hendrix Experience with Purple Haze. Your number 2, what is this song? Tay Zandi with Chocolate Rain. I never heard that before.
What? You never heard that song?
I'd never heard of that song before. Was that Logan who said that? Well, Logan,
Yeah,
what the hell is that?
Chocolate Rain. That's like a famous internet song.
Okay, well, if it wasn't in a silent movie, I don't fucking know that shit. Anyway, Nate, and your number 1 is Prince and the Revolution with Purple Rain. Tell me about your list.
All right, first of all, I think we all know what one the throwaway is here. That would be Taylor Swift on there. Sorry, Swifties. Anytime I can put a Stevie Wonder one on there, it's going to be there. And then Jimi Hendrix and Prince, I kind of wanted to put them on the same list there for a reason, is that, like, if you had to pick 2 great guitarists that ever lived and put them on they should be on the same list for me. That's kind of why I have them both there. And then Chocolate Rain, I believe for the most part in only title is it sort of like Purple Rain. It only has like the title reference there.
Mm-hmm.
It does talk about sort of different kind of concepts, and then of course there's Prince and the Revolution with Purple Rain. Really any version to that, it's just almost like I think what I like the most about that one too is it's got like a country kind of quality to it. Like you could hear this in like a country bar even, I think, this song. And
you mean Purple Rain?
Yeah, Purple Rain, absolutely. I feel like it could be like on the CMT, like, awards and stuff like that.
He's not wrong. I remember reading a little interview with I think Wendy and Lisa, and they're all like, well, when we first heard the song, we thought these are country chords.
Yeah. And there's been country covers of it, and I'm surprised no one's ever done a mashup of Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain and Purple Rain together by Willie Nelson. Anyway, sorry, Nate. Anything else you wanted to add?
I just as far as picking Chocolate Rain to be on there, I don't know why it was never produced onto like a streaming site or anything like that. That one really should have been, but it was like kind of an iconic meme thing to connect back to all of the icons, the other icons that are on my list.
Fellow icons like Stevie Wonder and Chocolate Rain, one and the same, really. Thank you very much for that, Professor Nate. And then we're going to get to Rob next. In the meantime, here is Prince. What was that? Prince and the Revolution. I just lost it here. Prince and the Revolution with Purple Rain. Thank you.
I never meant to call you in sorrow. I never meant to call you in pain. I don't wanna walk past you laughing. I only want to see you laughing in the purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain.
Yeah, like the longer versions when he does it like for 20 minutes with like a long guitar solo. It's kind of my preference there. And it's cool in the movie as a piece. But anyway,
You know, I
Rob,
do have to
sir.
say, Bo, sorry to
Go.
interrupt,
Please.
but one of the greatest things is his pleading, when he pleads, when he vocally says, "No, I know, times are changing." Right? I mean, he pleads better than anybody. He begs, he pleads. It's just so emotionally, he gives it 110%. He really, you feel it. You feel it in a way that not a lot of vocalists can give that much.
He pleads better than this guy?
Please, 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 please.
That you can't be a better pleader than that. That's the benchmark there, Kevin. Please.
Well,
Please.
you're right. He
please.
did borrow
please.
from James Brown.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good stuff. Hey, Rob, please. I'm gonna read your list and then give me your thoughts here. Your number 5. This was a song you switched up the artist on me, which is fine. But you ended up with the Dells with "I Can Sing a Rainbow, Love is Blue." Purple not even in the title. You don't care. You're a badass. Your number 4, Annie DeFranco, "Pale Purple." Your number 3, this was more what I was expecting right here. CNN featuring Parliament of House, the Inside, Deep Inside mix. Your number 2, then you went early Fleetwood Mac with "The Purple Dancer." And your number 1, not even on Spotify. You don't give a fuck. It's "Purple Hearts" with Jimmy. Tell me about it, Rob.
Well, yeah, I mean, I tried to go with stories or find things that related to my life a bit. So let's start with the first one. "I Can Sing a Rainbow" is probably the first song that I ever owned as a little kid when I was 3 or 4, because I had this Fisher Price kind of thing, and it sang the song "I Can Sing a Rainbow." And as you all know, purple is one of the colors, which actually is not a color of the rainbow. But yeah, that's why I stuck that in. And then we found the Dells, a bit of soul there for an interesting version. Then Annie DeFranco. So yeah, when I was 20, I lived in Hong Kong. I dated at one point a woman who was 30 going through a messy divorce, and she listened to Annie DeFranco. And Annie DeFranco, if you listen to her lyrics, it's quite moving kind of music. Very acoustic guitar. A lot of what she does all her own production, has her own recording label. But yeah, very meaningful, moving music. This song is about teenage pregnancies in the US and having to go at the government a bit. That comes into it. So the next one is actually on Purple Tracks recordings. That's why it's in there. It's a house track of a duo from Switzerland, who also made 2 tracks called Lesson 1, Lesson 2, which are iconic deep house tracks. And yeah, really good house music, really well made. They didn't make many tracks, maybe only 10, but it's a really good house track. Then I went into Fleetwood Mac. This is one of the bands of growing up. My dad would listen to Rumors in the car a lot. I think the other one, Paul Simon, Graceland, were the 2 albums of when I was a kid. And the Purple Dance, obviously I found this. I didn't actually know it, if I'm honest with you. As you say, it's early Fleetwood Mac, but it sounds really raw and nice. Quite different to the later, more polished Fleetwood Mac stuff. And then finally, Purple Hearts, Jimmy. You guys may know Purple Hearts is actually a word for the amphetamine pills. They were called Purple Hearts. So the ones they took during the mod era. So it's a mod revival band from the UK. And the song is talking about Jimmy from Quadrophenia, which was a movie, as you remember, The Who and stuff. And it's a great movie. If you've never seen it, anyone, I imagine most people have seen it, but it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's talking about Jimmy, and he's like this guy fed up with life. He's going to work every day, and he's kind of fed up with his job, and he just breaks out and then buys a motorbike and joins a group and gets a girlfriend and starts wearing cool clothes and just enters into the mod world. And it ends in a very dramatic way.
Yeah. So one last question. So I'll get to play Purple Hearts Jimmy, but while we do that, what pizza would from Home Slice would go best with listening to Prince?
I reckon spicy sausage.
little spicy. Yeah, it's you never blend with Prince. I like it there. Very good. Purple Hearts, Jimmy, and then we're gonna go to Tony. Thank you very much, Rob. Your first ever critic list.
Jimmy was born under a bad sign, you know he never really had a chance. Jimmy has had such a bad time, he's just another victim of circumstance. So Jimmy, Jimmy, why don't you make up your own mind? Jimmy, Jimmy, don't be afraid of what you find. Pushed around when he went to school, yeah. No one taught him how to be cool. His hair too long and his clothes so wrong. He knew it couldn't go on. Let me tell you now, Jimmy, Jimmy, why don't you make up your own mind? Jimmy, Jimmy, don't be afraid of what you find.
Super Joe Jackson vibe, super the Knack vibe, super power pop stuff.
Can I add one thing that I don't know if anyone else gets that, but with the drumming sequence of some of that music, mod music, the sort of northern soul, I hear drum and bass. I hear the kind of doom 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 in the drumming, and I've always found that quite fascinating.
Interesting stuff. Like when I think, a lot of that's based on the Amen breakbeat, which comes from the Impressions.
Yeah.
Curtis Mayfield. I know Tony digs that a lot, and we're going to move to you right here. Yeah, and I would love to cover more purely electronic music. We have done some in the past, but it's less my lane that I know well, so it's hard for me to connect it. But I hope people would recommend some people who we could come on and talk more drum and bass albums and all of that stuff. But in the meantime, Tony, you're number 5, MGMT, Time to Pretend. You're number 4, Marvin Gaye, from his sort of, to me, it's like his sort of mashed up heroin period, but maybe you're a big fan of it. Marvin Gaye with I Want You. Number 3, Digable Planets, Black Ego. You're number 2, Bill Evans Trio. I think you had them on your last critic list a long while ago with Detour Ahead with Take Two. And you're number 1, Prince and the Revolution with The Beautiful Ones. Tell me about it, Tony.
Okay, so I got collected some of those keywords of the meaning of purple. I didn't, chose these songs from visually, but more of a conceptual. So the first one is vague and abstract, mysterious, and somehow sexy, intimate. And for the time, it's sometime between the dawn, pun intended, and the sunset and the midnight. And last one is Prince. So based on these keywords, I chose 5 of those songs. MGMT Time to Pretend is go way back to my high school or college. The first time I listened to this song is like is a party that cool kids are going to. Mm-hmm. And the fourth one, I Want You, Marvin Gaye, is like the ultimate way to present how sexy is, I guess, and how intimacy is. And the third one, Digable Planets, Black Eagle, from my maybe one of the favorite East Coast album. Mm. When I listen to this album, I always imagine that I'm cruising with my Cadillac, midnight in the hood. And the second one, Bill Evans Trio, the Waltz for Debbie. The song is from Waltz for Debbie. Detour Ahead. If I have to choose one record that I'll take away with me to a no man island, I'll take this one. The first one, okay, of course, The Beautiful Ones, and Prince and the Revolutions. That's why we are here for, right? So
we're gathered here today for that. Very interesting. And if you guys are familiar, like I said, Tony has played with a great funk band, and he studied music in university in America, right? In New
No,
York, right?
actually, I'm self-taught.
So okay, well, but you
Yeah.
you were in the States for a while, right? With that, weren't you?
Maybe just 1 month in New York.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Sorry for the confusion of that. Let me ask you. Most of these people here are based in China.
Oh.
This isn't directly related, but one thing I've also talked to Tony about is the history of like R&B music in China and the Greater China area as
Mhm.
well. There is an artist who has made waves. It's technically a group, I guess, and I've actually seen them live, and the act is very similar, at least aesthetically, to Prince. And some would say maybe it's imitating a little bit too much. Some people would say, maybe not everyone. And so, what do you think about Click 15, the R&B group in China?
Um, Somehow I think it. Okay, to be honest, I think it's just a knockoff of Prince.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be real, but
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, I gotta say that everybody has, some bits of themselves from Prince, right? But
Yeah.
you can never ever, just copy some of that shit from Prince. Like Prince had, said something on the internet or on TV worldwide that you don't that he said you don't want to be me. I'm Prince. You can never
Mhm.
be me. You want to be yourself. That's the gen. How do you say the since? How do you want to be real and true
Sincere. Yeah.
to your sincere to your music?
Yeah. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a
Yeah,
little bit
there
of
you go.
Click 15 just to educate the kids a little bit, and then I'm going to play from your number one, The Beautiful Ones, and then we're going to go to Logan for his list. Thank you very much for giving your opinion for that. Appreciate you joining, Tony. So here's Click 15 with Fragrance Oil, then Prince with The Beautiful Ones. There you go. And now The Beautiful Ones. All right, very cool. Logan, you're on the move. Are you ready
I'm
to do
always on the
yours?
move. Yep.
Yeah, always on the move. I dig it. Well, here is your critic list. Your number five from the Lost album, Nas, Purple. Your number four, Raspberry Beret by Prince. Your number three, this is what I'm talking about. a cover of Prince's music. This is Jeff Beck featuring Jan Hammer, Beth Hart, Rosie Bones, Jimmy Hall, and Steven Tyler of Aerosmith with Purple Rain. Your number 2, the Jimi Hendrix Experience with Purple Haze. And your number 1, one of those purple pills featuring Eminem and his cohorts in D12. Tell me about it, Logan.
So it's actually really interesting that Rob said purple hearts are also purple pills. I didn't think about that at all when he was saying it. I never heard that term before. But purple pills is just a classic. I had to pick Nas because he's one of the best rappers ever. That he has a purple song that I like. I was like, oh wow, this is fortuitous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think when you said purple, I took it very literally. So I was trying to think of purple songs. I like, as you said, like cover versions of Prince are usually pretty good. Like he does such a great job. Like his lyrics are so strong, the melodies are so good that I always find like inspiration from like a lot of his music. And then I had never heard that cover before, so I was looking up stuff to send to you. And then I mean, I think Purple Haze. I just had to pick Purple Haze. You know.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, like there's a version of Purple Rain done with Angelo Moore of Fishbone on lead vocals. Maybe I'll play it in a bit. I really like that version a lot as well. And like I said, Purple Haze is an interesting song because the metal world covers it. You have Ozzy singing that. You also have Iggy Pop doing kind of a metal, punky version with Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols on there. But Purple Pills, really, is that a classic for you? Was that
Oh yeah.
seminal?
I mean, that hits because I would have probably been about 20, 21 when that came out, and that was playing everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And like that's when Eminem had just got big, and there was but it was I don't know. D12 came out. It was such a like a hot group, and he did kind of funny rap, which you never really saw in that kind of big scale. So I feel like Purple, and the video is absolutely really fun to watch. It's a beautiful video. Like you feel like you're rolling kind of with it.
Yeah. A little silly, some of the home. Well, anyway, if you dig it, that's cool.
Yeah,
And
but
it
the
was
Nas
certainly
one
was a
though,
big hit. What's
the
that?
Nas one that I picked, Nas, the last one I picked
Yeah.
is the album is really good, but like that he had a song about purple, purple being obviously marijuana it was pretty like I was listening to it again. I was listening to it earlier and I was like, oh wow, this song is so sick. Like Nas's
Yeah.
beats are next level. Like I really like how he does his stuff. And
Yeah.
I was really inspired because I feel like the same way that Prince is, some people just get music.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like the same thing. Like Prince, you can see it. He plays every instrument. He does this amazing thing. Nas has been on like every track he does. Like you don't have Jay-Z without Nas. So I was like, wow, this is like an inspirational.
Fair enough. Certainly very seminal. I'm more of a Cool G rap guy, but that's a conversation for another day. In the meantime, thank you, Logan. It's Purple Pills by D12, and then we're going to get to Anastasia.
I take a couple uppers, I down a couple downers, but nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills. I've been to Mushroom Mountain, once or twice, but who's counting? But nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills. Cool, calm, just like my mom, with a couple of Valium inside a palm. It's Mr. Mischief with a trick up his sleeve. Pull up on you like Christopher Reeves. I can't describe the vibe I get when I drive by 6 people and 5 I hit. Aw shit, I started a marsh pit, squashed a bit and stomped the foster kids. These shrooms make me hallucinate, and I sweat till I start losing weight, till I see dumb shit start happening. Drumming in Vanilla Ice, trying to rap again. So bounce, bounce, come on, bounce. I said, come on, bounce. Everybody in the house put a half an ounce. Not weed, I meant coke to mass it down. We don't want shit, better ask around. D12 throws the bomb, is bash in town. Bizarre, your mom is passing out. Get her ass on the couch, but she crashes out.
Fuck that, someone help the nine. He's upstairs naked with a weapon drawn.
Hey, Vine, you see me stepping on these leprechauns?
It gotta be acid, cause the X is gone.
Yeah, I took them off with some Parmesan, and I think my arm is gone.
Probably numb.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much for that. Anastasia, you're number 5. Olivia Rodrigo, Jealousy, Jealousy. This is the first that I've actually really listened to Olivia Rodrigo. You know, very aware of her, and she does the duets with Robert Smith. I saw a video of, but This was cool to check out. Your number four, you've mentioned to me directly about cult leaders before. Well, I see you have an interest in cults because your number four is the Orion experience with Cult of Dionysus, a call to join a cult. Your number three, Miracle Musical, another really interesting song I never heard before. It's kind of a pastiche of old vintage Hawaiian inspired music from the 20s and 30s with Dream Suite in C minor. Your number two, Labyrinth, When I RIP. And your number one, I think it's from Belgium, Stromae, Tous les Mêmes. I think that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, the floor is yours. Take it away.
First of all, I would like to put Labyrinth to listen later. I think I would move it to the first place now that I think of it.
Okay, sure.
Then when I had to choose these songs, I have more like of a visual photo memory. So I thought of like purple cover or art connected with the song. And the first one I chose was actually Cult of Dionysus. It's not about cult thing. It just happens this way. But I think that Dionysus generally like purple color for me because he's kind of a party lifestyle with like joys of the flesh. The wine is like very connected with this kind of purple vibe. And then how it got to the labyrinth. And I feel that purple is like cool kids color, cool girls color for me. Because Labyrinth, it was in the Netflix series Euphoria that I haven't watched, but the cool girls in in the class in the school, they were really into that show. And there was one time then they asked me to take pictures of them. They put the purple light in the room and they put on that music. And they posed for the pics that I had to take for them. And so it's very purple. It's this kind of cool girl, pretty vibes. So I think that's it.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Like, yeah, it's very music from Japan, right? And music from Belgium. Do you have a very like international music sense, would you say?
Yeah, quite. Listen to all countries.
Okay. Great. Well, yeah, excellent stuff. And I'll play Labyrinth, like you said, when I RIP. And very cool. And then we'll get to Elizabeth. Thank you, Anastasia.
Cheer. They've been waiting for me. What the fuck? The fuck? Feel the morning on my face. Ain't a pill that I didn't take. Just a lifetime, 'cause it's been a long day. 'Cause I'm asleep when I R.I.P. Ba-da-ba-da. Flashbacks, relapse, camera flash, and don't forget your hashtag. Rucksack, white stacks, you're a dead man, and better rid of that gap. You gonna run game, it don't ever run you. When they bitching on your name, you say fuck you too.
Two. All right. Elizabeth, Opera Babe 84. Hey, you're number five. Also, the Eminem posse hit D12 Purple Pills. You're number four, a former Florida resident, Rick Ross. It's Skrillex featuring Rick Ross with Purple Lamborghini. You're number three from A Color Purple, Quincy Jones. It's Miss Celia's Blues, Sister. You're number two, La Dame Blanche featuring Colors. This was quite a vivid track. It's let me pull this up bigger so I can see it better. La Dame Blanche featuring Colors, Venimo, A Colors Show. And your number one, of course, as you told me, the Jimi Hendrix Experience with Purple Haze. Tell me about it, Elizabeth.
So for me, my list was more about kind of discovery and different and new things because Prince is one of those artists that I feel like it's always something different, something new, something interesting with him. So that's kind of what I went with for my list. Um, Purple Lamborghini just because it was kind of the first time you saw this whole hip hop blend with um,
Dubstep.
dubstep. Thank you. First time you kind of saw that blend. Purple Pills, first time you kind of got an idea of who Eminem was with the other group, and they're funny and it's that kind of thing. Celia's Blues, Color Purple, first time that you really got an idea of what um, you know it was like for Black people in the South, roughly around those 20s, 30s time frame. And La Dame Blanche, just if you've seen the video on YouTube, it's this woman in this amazing purple coat, this sparkly coat, and she hits you with the wall of her voice. It's just like bam in your face. So it's like, wow, okay, that's pretty cool. And Jimi Hendrix, because you can't have something on this list without Purple and Jimi Hendrix. It's just no.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, Jimi Hendrix definitely appeared a lot in Purple Haze, and yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, it was interesting discovering Venemo, a color shade. Yeah, someone who didn't make it, I'm seeing if they're around, was Miss Gabrielle, and she chose songs with like a bisexual theme, and which purple apparently is the color of bisexuality. So I thought that was matched with Venemo, La Dame Blanche anyway. So which I didn't really think of. Maybe I wasn't so conscious of until I saw that before. But Julia says yes, and my cat is biting me until I play some Jimi Hendrix, so I'm going to do that. And then we'll go to Julia. But thank you very much, Elizabeth. And again, nice purple shirt. Excuse me while I kiss the sky. Jimi Hendrix featuring DJ Bo, DJ Bo with Purple Haze. Very cool. Julia, hey.
Hello.
You're number 5. Very punky song for Duran Gray with Pink Killer. You're number 4. Ouija Mac with Fago and Crown. Quite the cocktail. You should give a name to that. Dark Lotus with Black Rain. That's the ICP supergroup with ABKs in there and a couple others. Your number 2 is The Birthday Massacre with Blue. Not purple, but okay. Your number 1 is SKYND, Skinned. Violets are blue.
Skinned.
Violets are blue. Tell me about it, Julia.
Okay. Pink Killer because, well, purple is my favorite color, and your favorite color, Bo, is pink.
Okay.
Also, it's a great song.
Okay.
Fago and Crown. Well, if you know your liquors, then you know Crown Royal comes in a purple bag.
Ah.
And, if you mix that with grape Fago, I'm pretty sure it's amazing. I need to try that. Black Rain, well, because we're talking about Prince, Purple Rain, but this is Black Rain, which is also a color that I enjoy. And for some odd reason, and, purple, mysterious, this Black Rain is causing these men to go into murderous rage. They don't know why. Blue, because if you mix pink and blue, you get purple.
Isn't it red and blue? Maybe.
No, pink and blue too. You also get purple. It's a different shade, but yeah. Also, this has to do, like, the song is about, uh, waiting for someone to come into your room and, like, having a date, but then all of a sudden it twists and lots of anger is brought out. Great song. Which brings us to Violets Are Blue. Skinned is an group, consists of 2 people, and they like to do songs based off of serial killers, cultists, unsolved mysteries, blah, blah, blah. This one in particular is about a murderer, just a murderer. He only murdered one guy, but he did torture some animals. In Canada, he basically dismembered and ate a student from China.
Lovely.
On the, he put an ad out in the newspaper kind of thing, Craigslist, whatever, for a night of BDSM, which again tangles us back to Blue.
Oh,
And
sure.
well, the guy, answered, and I'm pretty sure he got that, but he also got killed. Now,
Not a happy
after
ending.
after that, he dismembered this guy and sent parts of his body to different, Congress people kind of things, and had little notes that attached to it. And one of the notes said, "Roses are red, violets are blue. Police will need dental records to identify you. And red and blue makes purple. Also, violets are purple."
Violets are purple. They're all violets are blue by Skin. Thank you very much, Julia. Then we're going to get to my list. We'll finish it off here in less than 5 minutes. Thank you.
Everyone is waiting for me. Everyone is longing for me. I need another face in the mirror. Everything I see is twisted, so I gotta shine in the mirror. You cannot retrieve what's wasted, so you gotta look in the mirror. Roses are red, violets are blue. I've been hands and feet and my tissue paper sending to you. Roses are red, violets are blue. The leaves will tend to records to identify. Roses are red, violets are blue. Hands and feet and pink tissue paper sending to you. Roses are red, violets are blue. Police will need dental records to identify you. Keep a secret if you like it.
Okay, there you go. Very lovely. Thank you, Julia. Hey, so for my list, I had my number 5 as blue and my number 1 as red because combined they make purple, and both of them are Prince songs. So my number 5 is Prince and the New Power Generation with Blue Light, kind of a reggae tinged song by him. My number 1 is Little Red Corvette, one of his very best songs, and just a very mysterious sounding song that I really like a lot. So Prince Little Red Corvette, I don't think you can go wrong with it. My number 4 is Stone Temple Pilots' Interstate Love Song, really one of the great rock songs of the 1990s. It's from the album called Purple, and it's just instantly identifiable, just an interesting sounding track. Just the song itself, Interstate Love Song, I like a lot. My number 3 is from a group I saw in Macedonia. They are made up of Eastern European expats in the United States called Gogo Bordello. And their kind of anthem of trying to recapture their tradition of their original folk music is called Start Wearing Purple. It's very popular for their fans. And when they sang this, when I saw them in Macedonia, and they would mention Sofia, the city, and other places, they would point in the direction, and it was absolute insanity. One of the very best concerts I've ever been to. And my number 2 is Purplers, a group out of South Korea with their song Funkicized. And I think it's one of the funkiest tracks you're ever going to hear. And you guys have probably heard Little Red Corvette enough while listening to 1999, so I'll play my number 2. Listen to this funky stuff with the Purplers with Funkicized.
Come and show me your moves, baby. Twisting time is here. Your hips are misting, so play rock Come and show me your moves, baby. Freaking time is here. Move like a township, so play rock Lonely party girl, you know what to me. Feel so free when you are around. Feel so free when you are around. Stone in my way, senses down in my toes. Just like you, I'm on my mind. We're getting nasty when you're focused.
I really dig it. It's got the Prince influence, but I think it does its own thing as well. Hey guys, we finished our critic list. Thank you guys so much with presenting them. You guys were great. Next week for the Critical Music Club, we are talking about 2 new garage rock albums out of Europe. One out of Germany, one out of the UK. This is the one, actually, yeah, the Future Shaper Sound out of London. Real soul, gospel-inspired garage rock, and the band's going to join us. And band out of Germany will be joining us as well. 2 new albums, interesting rock music. Upcoming, we also have a classic from the 80s with one of the artists joining us, the Toasters, with Thrill Me Up, real New York ska music. Lots of fun other meetings coming up. And if you can donate money, you can do that. If you can't, that's perfectly fine. I'll put the QR code in the WeChat group. If you can tell your friends, post the poster, say, hey, we did this, it was fun. Or the YouTube link. Or if you have an artist, hey, they should be joining us. Hit me up for that. That's appreciated as well. People you think should be critics and would dig talking about music, please do that. And it's all good anyway. Thank you so much to Kevin. Thank you to all our critics. We're going to finish it up now. As they say in Mongolia, Dara Otsi, everybody.